What's up, Pepper Crew? Have you ever driven by a cemetery and wondered, I bet you there's some stories to be told in that particular cemetery? Well, today is your lucky day. I'm in a specific cemetery in the city of Meridian, Mississippi, called Rose Hill Cemetery, and there's a story to be told. There's multiple stories to be told in here, but I'm going to speak of one in particular today. And I'm going to invite you to hop aboard the Pepper Ship along with me and Small Fry.
Hi.
Sun is bright. We're going to go out and tell this story. All right, so we are here in Rose Hill Cemetery, located in Meridian, Mississippi. It's about 53 degrees outside. There's a light breeze. You may get a little wind noise. And it is ultimately a very clear and pretty day. A little chilly, but not too bad. Check out this headstone over here. It's like falling over with time. Check out these headstones. They look like tree stumps, but really ornate. Really old too. Very cool, very cool. I'm here with Steve from Blues Clues. Special guest. Oh wait, that's Small Fry. Never mind. Do you know this story, Small Fry?
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it? Well, today the story will be told. Maybe correctly or incorrectly. This is a pretty cool statue up here. This looks like a family plot. Looks like the Ragsdale family. Very interesting statue, caught cast in that light. Nice shadow. But the reason why we are here today is this set of graves right here. As you can see, there's something a little bit different about each and every one of these graves compared to the rest of them in this place. Where I'm from in New Orleans, or in the New Orleans area, you'll find graves that are decorated like this occasionally. People bringing trinkets and stuff like that to remember, to bring respect. But this story is a little bit different. The one laid here is a woman by the name of Kelly Mitchell. And here is her husband, Emil Mitchell. And next to him is Flora Mitchell. And I'm about to share their stories with you today. So the story of Kelly Mitchell is one where she is known as the Queen of the Gypsies, and her husband, Emil, was known as the King of the Gypsies. And Emil was actually responsible for bringing over and many of the Romani people to the United States in the 1800s. But the story today is about his wife, Kelly Mitchell. Kelly Mitchell died at a very young age of 47 years old in 1915. And Kelly died during childbirth, which could happen fairly regularly back in those days. She was in labor with her 15th child. Can you believe that? 15 children. And in her 15th child labor, she passed away. She gave birth to 9 sons and 4 daughters in her life. And she was very well loved amongst her people. One of the interesting things about this story is that they actually lived about 40 miles away. And in 1915, 40 miles is a pretty long walk, even by carriage. So why would she be laid to rest 40 miles away? Well, Meridian, Mississippi, though not a huge town at the time, had a morgue. It had a place where they could keep her body for a while. And they would invite their people, the Romanis, from all over the country to come to her funeral. And the Romani people would come, indeed, in large numbers. Her body would lay in state at a nearby Episcopal church where not enough people could fit, because the amount of people that would show up to remember Kelly would be 20,000 strong, roundabout. Now imagine 1915 in a small town, 20,000 Romani people showing up to pay respects to somebody they cared about very deeply. You can tell the impact that the king, Emil, and his wife, the queen, Kelly, brought amongst the people. They carried a great respect. She laid in state in green robes, and people in the Romani culture will leave things within their casket when they pass away, that when they go into the afterlife, much like you study in Greek culture and Egyptian culture, to carry into the afterlife with them. And so many things were brought, respects were paid, and the procession would lead here eventually to Rose Hill Cemetery. So Kelly would be laid to rest eventually right here in this very spot. 47 years of age. And if you'll notice, there are many, many trinkets that are laying near and on the grave site. There's a lot of legends that go along with this, the most popular of which people will leave things looking for answers. You see that there's remnants of different things. There's a wreath with a skull. Looks like a box of Pokemon cards. I believe that's the fox from, what's the name of the movie? Zootopia. A little candle, there's beads, there's bread, there's a fishing lure. All sorts of little things. Beads, sunglasses. And you can even see that all these other graves in the Mitchell family has some things on it, but most importantly, that of Kelly. And the rumor is, the story goes, if you leave something here, that Kelly will visit you in your dreams and share something that you need to know. And so people come from all over the place and leave things here, hoping to hear from Kelly from beyond. The other part of the story is a bit sad. If you'll notice, there's cracks in the top of the gravestone, the cover slab. It's been concreted and looks like there was more cracks laid. And if you remember what I said earlier, people would leave things within the coffin of somebody for them to bring into the afterlife. And so rumors started circulating that there was gold and there was silver and all sorts of things within Kelly's grave. And so, much like you see in Egyptian tombs, plunderers come along. But what they found in this one is that Emil, being a smart man that he was, had both his grave and her grave reinforced with concrete and steel bars. So it would be impossible for anybody to actually get in, or extremely difficult. And so that is the story of Kelly Mitchell, very much loved and adored by her husband and by her people. And her husband, Emil, would live to be the ripe old age of 85 years old. So he would live many more years than his wife. He would get remarried again to a woman by the name of Lapa Kelly, who's not buried here, and is buried somewhere else. But he's buried next to his sister, Flora. And Flora would become the queen of the Gypsies after Kelly passed away. There's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of people believe that Emil ended up marrying Flora. But just like it would be weird to us, it would be very weird to them to marry your sister. His actual second wife was named Lapa and was not buried here. And so Flora was his Emil's sister. And so the Mitchells are laid to rest here in such a respectful way. And my hope in sharing this story with you is that we treat those that we come across, with the cemeteries that we see, that we realize that each one of these people here have a story. And so many of them get forgotten to time. There's a lot of details about Kelly's story that we may never know. A lot of details about Emil's story that we may never know. But there's so many other people that are laid to rest in places like this that are forgotten after years and years. So the whole point of these places is to come and remember. Now, as we wrap this episode up, do you know the difference, and this is a bit of trivia, without using the Google, without using old Ask Jeeves, without using your clever little AI friend, without typing anything in, other than maybe the answer below this video, do you know what the difference is between a cemetery and a graveyard? That's for you to answer. Is there any stories of those that have passed on that you want to be heard? Share those in the comments. There's a lot of great stories to be told. People that have lived full lives. You have lived a life, and it deserves to be told. Whether you think you're insignificant or not, it's not insignificant. Your life is worthy. That's why I pull this camera out. It's not so much about being on TikTok or YouTube. I want something someday that my children and my children's children may one day be able to look back on and say, that's my dad, that's my grandfather. He loved things and he loved telling stories, and this is who he is. And so, all that to say, we love you very much, and laissez le bon temps rouler.